Song fight, song fight. Get a title and a date, send a song in. Everybody votes, then we do it again. Song fight, song fight. Get a title and a date, send a song in. Everybody votes, then we do it again.
Oh, I guess I should test my mic. My mic is not loud enough. Okay, sorry, we're just getting everything set up. There we go. And maybe, yeah, we're gonna have the mics panned. That's just how it's gonna be. Stream has started. Sure, sit on that thing. All right. Let's see. Let's get the URL out there for people. No, I can't, G. All right. Oh. All right. Yes. Nice. Nice, Bud. How's it going? Didn't have the volume up. So if the link is working for people, that is good news. So I guess, let's see. Just want to make sure that everybody is seeing it, and then we're going to kick off with some interviews. So for the next hour and a half, we're going to do an interview show here. Glenn Case has recorded several interviews with different folks, and okay, and so then in an hour and a half, we're going to start with some performances. There will be an ad performance from me. There will be a Flebia performance. We have a medley from Heine from Germany. So this is international. It's super international because we also have a song from Caravan Ray. I might be forgetting something. Then we're going to have a Charm Offensive set, which is me and my wife. It's the Song Fight live songs we make together. I play outside. You play outside? Yeah. Yeah. And then finally, we're going to end the night with a set from Glenn Case, and we might hear from Glenn Case here. Cool. All right. So looks like we got a lot of people in, and I'm going to kick it off with here is an interview from Glenn with a longtime songfighter. I guess we'll just say songfight legend. We used to throw that word around. It's now that it's been 20 years. Please don't. now that it's been 20 years, I think we can throw it around a little more. So here is G. I need you to let go of the mic. Here is an interview with Nivius.
Of anyone that I know, you are the song fight historian more than anyone else. So if there was anyone that needs to be interviewed on this, you are essential.
I don't know how much of a song fight historian I am, but I mean, I do love song fight, and I love just going through that archive. It's definitely been a blast to do this again. Yeah, now on, what is it, day 30, I guess?
You're going through the entire archive and picking favorites.
Yeah, I'm going through the entire archive every day, just listening, and it's an adventure.
Well, the first question is, what is song fight?
What is song fight? Song fight is a musical challenge in which you are given a title, and then after the span of about a week to write and compose and produce a song. It's a monster of a thing to do. At the beginning of a week feels like this, but suddenly it goes away. It vanishes.
Yes, it does. How did you find song fight?
I wish I had a really good answer to that, but I don't. I started with song fight in 2003.
Sure.
And honest to God, I have no recollection of how I first found song fight. I mean, I found it right after the big, like right around the same time as the big Frontalot rush, that whole what we need more is science fight that brought in just so many people. Suddenly it was just like, oh, there's this thing, song fight. And which comic was it? Achewood?
Yes.
Right. Achewood did their whole thing, and that just brought in a ton of people. And so I would guess that in my internet searching, I stumbled into this big thing. Okay, all I have to do is write a song called Thunderstorm. Okay, I could probably do that. And
Nice.
I'm not in the Thunderstorm fight because, again, a week's worth of time suddenly...
It's nothing. Yeah, exactly. And approximately how many songs would you say that you've submitted to Song Fight? And that can be just under your main name or aliases, if you've submitted under aliases. And I know you have submitted under aliases. One of them was brought up in an earlier one when I talked with Jim Terrell, Suave Noise Youth. I did not realize that was you and that was an anagram for Nivius Hates You.
Yeah, that was a weird time. When you look back on it, I was such a little brat.
No, he was saying he related to the song though.
Well, yeah, because it's this like infamous little song, Blueberry Hassle, where I wrote this song, and it was just like Song Fight plays favorites. If you haven't won a song fight by now, chances are you'll never win. And it's so weird because Song Fight was still really finding its footing, because this is only like early 2004.
Yeah.
So like Song Fight may have existed for 4 years, but it had already gone through the whole Neurotic reign, and then that disappeared. And then the Meanwhile section where it just kind of was holding on by some threads. And then it finally was coming together. And by then it's 2003, and people are already, either feeling nostalgic or getting angry about things. And it's like, it's still so incredibly early for all of that. It was weird. So to answer your question on how many songs I've done, I have been a part of 84.
You actually have an exact count.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Yeah. Which name have you submitted? Has it been mostly Nivius, or has it been like another collective that you've submitted the most often?
Okay, so most often, that's a good question. I think I have the most songs under Ex Tokyo River God,
sure. Which
Ex Tokyo River God was my experimental band. I had this program called Talk Any, which would do text to speech. So then I would take those and I would use that over beats and make songs. And I did that for a while, but I really saw that was kind of limited. I was already doing music with Johnny Cashpoint. At the time, we were already doing Transatlantic Fight Club, and he was also part of Suave Noise Youth. So we got together and we he joined ex Tokyo River God, and then Noel McLaughlin joined, and then things started growing, and then it grew a little more because Auntie M started helping out on stuff, and Roymond joined as well, and then by the end of it, like we were able to do one of the Songfight lives, and that was great.
Have you ever been part of a winning Songfight entry? And in that, how important is winning? That's kind of a two-part question.
Okay, so have I ever been part of a winning entry? The answer is yes, by technicality. One year, there was a title, Day of the Dead. And in Day of the Dead, I got on the forum and I was like, I will write lyrics for as many bands who want my lyrics. And I think I wrote lyrics for maybe 12 bands that fight.
And one of them won.
And it was a tie, so 2 of them won.
I mean, it counts, but
It counts. It counts.
But how important is winning in the grand scheme of things?
It is absolutely 100% not worth a darn thing.
It's not like you win a prize. It's bragging rights, basically.
It's not like you win a prize. It's bragging rights. And honestly, like, since I've been going through the archive and looking at some of the songs that have won, I'm like, oh, okay, like that one. And, I mean, sure, it must feel great to be Death's Head or Melvin or Josh Woodward and or Berkeley Social Scene and have these many hits under their belt. That have that little green winner box on the Songfight jukebox. But all in all, when you listen through, it's just like, you know what? There are so many great songs that didn't win. There are so many songs that have won and really didn't deserve to win.
And you've partially already answered question number 5, too, which is who have you collaborated with on Songfight?
So people I have collaborated with, okay, you've got... So there's Guns, which is me and Glennie.
Sure.
I did a lot of work with Berkeley Social Scene. Like there was a time in which every year we were writing an album for February album writing month. Like I would write their lyrics and then we'd do an album. We did about 6 or 7 of those.
Sure.
So I did a lot of stuff with Berkeley Social Scene. I collaborated with DJ Ranger Den as Mr. Nakazawa's Book of Surprises. Let's see. I've worked with a lot of people. Naked Philosophy as No Orchids.
You have about as many aliases as I do.
I have quite a few because I had a lot of little collaborations here and there. Even ones that doing this archive run, I just got up to 2005, and I was just like, oh, Def Sale. I'm like, I'm in that, aren't I? Yeah.
Where you almost have to check your notes. Oh yeah, I think that's yeah.
I have had to check my notes and go, okay, wait a second. Did I write this? Like, I wrote this, didn't I? Yeah, I wrote this. Like, there's a song from Funch Your Friends. Like, Funch Your Friends were, like, this duo. I don't know how many other collaborators they had, but, I mean, I definitely knew Mogus Sakatai and Egg were, like, the 2 main guys. And they were doing all sorts of weird noise, experimental stuff. Like half their songs had like lectures about Aristotle running through them, and people like either just loved it or absolutely hated it. And I don't remember back then loving it. But for somehow, some way, I ended up writing a song for them, and it was just like, okay. And today I'm listening. I'm like, yeah, I wrote that, didn't I? Yeah, I did.
So this is going to be tougher for you than I think most people because you have scoured through as much as you have. Who are a few of your favorite Songfight artists or bands that you enjoy? And another way to frame this would be, who would you love to see return to Songfight? Or like if you had a Songfight Hall of Fame, who are you picking for your like Hall of Famers for just...
Oh, jeez, that's so hard.
Yeah.
Oh, that's super difficult because I'm going through this archive and I still have so far to go. Let's see. I'm a big fan of Son of Supercar.
Oh, me too.
Son of Supercar, just absolutely great stuff. Jute Geit, he did some absolutely brilliant stuff. He's still out there doing absolutely brilliant stuff. I mean, I go to his Bandcamp all the time, and he's making this music that I don't even understand. I still have years to go in this archive because now I'm like 2005, so I've still got many, many miles to go before I sleep. So
Sure.
I will have a million different answers.
I'll be interested in hearing that. Like, we'll maybe check back with you on this once you've gone through the entire archive and really can definitively say, okay, this is.
Yeah, I would absolutely love if you did that, because there's still so many songs to go through and to suddenly bring back into my life and go, oh yeah, I remember this and I love this, and oh, why do I listen to this more? It's so weird because like there's only the Song Fight archive to hear some of this stuff.
Yeah.
I really wish that that there were more songfighters like you who put their music out in so many other places. Like, if I want to hear your stuff, I can go onto Spotify and look, there you are. There's a lot of the songs that I love.
All right. So question number 7, what is friend flooding, and do you have any personal experience with it?
Friend flooding is when you decide that you're going to try and get that win. So you contact a bunch of your friends and say, hey, look, I'm doing this thing at Song Fight. You may not know what Song Fight is, but hey, you know me. You like me enough to say, here, put a vote in for me. Sure, you can vote for other people, but make sure
you vote for me.
At the same time, it's great that you brought your friends over. Just make sure that your friends actually listen to everything. That's really nice. But have I ever friend flooded? No, I've never friend flooded.
There you go.
Because I've always been, back in the day at least, very shy about the music I was making. I mean, I wasn't making the greatest stuff when I first joined Song Fight, because I was still, I still had on my swimmies. I was still learning everything, and I didn't know how to produce or anything like that. So I was still trying to figure everything out.
No, you're putting together some bangers these days, though. I actually really enjoyed a lot of what you were making in Nur Ein. I was sad to see you guys go as early as you did.
Oh, thank you. Well, I mean, if you ever want to hear more of the stuff that we're doing, Lucky Witch and the Righteous Ghost.
All right, question number 8. What is your favorite song by Octothorpe?
My favorite song by Octothorpe is Walking the Border.
Walking the Border. All right.
Walking the Border.
Fantastic.
It is not everyone's favorite, but it is certainly mine. I also have a great love for That's Not What I Need. That's not what I need.
Very nice.
I had to run through the chorus in my head, and videos down on Cataclysm. That's what I need. I love that song. Yes.
That's so great. Question number 9. What are some of your favorite memories from Song Fight live events?
Okay, so I hosted some events in New York, as well as being a part of some events. So it was a Song Fight Presents, and it was at a place called Goodbye Blue Monday. Okay. Which would eventually become a much bigger part of my life history, because it's like that little venue, everything kind of spilled out into another venue, which then became like my musical home and the whole big story. Probably one of my most embarrassing onstage moments.
Is that something you'd like to share? Or,
sure. Why?
Okay.
I love this one. I went on stage with Glennie and friends. We were doing several songs. And we were doing a song called Submarines. Submarines was a song that I had written for Berkeley Social Scene for February album writing month. Sure. So here we are. And the thing is, we didn't do any rehearsals beforehand.
I can see where this might be going.
Yeah. We're going through the song. First verse is going great. Second verse is going great. There's the guitar solo, and I'm like, they're just going. And I'm thinking to myself, when is this bridge going to end? Like I'm waiting to get into that last verse. When is this bridge going to end? So I'm just kind of standing there and I'm bopping along, and I'm just like, they're doing a great job. So then I turned to Glennie and I'm like, when are you doing the last verse? And he's just like, we are already in the last verse.
No.
So some part of me died inside there at that moment.
It's the sort of thing that'll happen, in the live events.
Let's see, technical difficulties, that's always a fun thing with Song Fight Live. I remember throwing the second Song Fight Live in New York. We have Prospect Park, and Prospect Park has their music pavilion. And there's just like, oh, great, we're going to have this great outdoor area that people who, walking by will be able to hear it and watch and this and that. Yeah, one thing I did not know about the music pavilion is that it's not wired for electricity.
Okay, it's unplugged. Song Fight Unplugged. Break out the acoustic guitars.
Yeah, that's exactly what we did. Everyone sat around and played acoustic. Thankfully, that was only the afternoon show. We also had a night show at Sidewalk Cafe.
And they had electricity.
And they had electricity, and we were able to do a killer show then.
It's where you can take a bad situation and still make it kind of fun.
Yeah. I've had so many wacky adventures with Song Fight Lives. Okay, so one time we threw a Song Fight Live, and we did it at this place, the Bohemian Beer Garden. This was before I had like any real like skill when it comes to booking shows.
Sure.
Now I can book a show. Okay. Like now, like I've had the experience. Back then it wasn't a lot. We get there and great stage. It's this huge area. It's like, okay, this is going to be great. Like people are going to come and they're going to, be able to eat kielbasa and drink beer and have a good time and hear the show. But how are they going to hear the show? We don't have like any mixer or anything. Why is there no mixer with this stage? So we go to the owner and we're just like, we need a PA system. We have no PA system. And he's just like, we thought you would be prepared. Like, why don't you have your, and we're like, oh, really? Like, this is how you run your show? And we're like, no, we need equipment so that, people can hear us. So
they didn't have any.
Oh, no. They did. Now, let me tell you, the owner of this place was one of the scariest dudes you will ever find.
Okay.
Like, immediately, like, he came off like a Bond villain. Immediately. So suddenly when he's just like, oh, I think you have your own. And it's just like, no, sir. So he goes and he takes us around through these rooms and we get to this garage. And it's just like, okay, like.
This is where I die.
Exactly. This is where he kills us. Opens up the garage and there's all this musical equipment. And it's like, great. We'll just take this and this and this and we'll be good. And he's like, no, you take this. And he gives us the littlest thing in the room. Like, you take this in this speaker and you'll be happy. And it's like, okay, dude. It was such a weird show. Like, to start off a day. So my day started off with that. And then Frontalot was sitting around with the lead singer of Wheatus.
Oh, yeah. He and Brendan hang out a lot. Yeah.
Yeah. And I forgot which of the two of them offered me pot cookies. And I'm like, I just had this experience with like this Bond villain. And now Front and the guy from Wheatus are offering me pot cookies. I'm like, this is just the wildest day.
And based on your answers with that, it might tie into question number 10. We're almost through them all. What have you learned from Song Fight?
Whew. I learned a lot of things from Song Fight. I knew how to play guitar somewhat. Like, And like I had never performed live really. And my production skills were zero. I think my first 5 songs for Songfight were all done with a 4-track with cassettes. So yeah, and I learned a lot about flanging that year. Yeah.
I bet.
So Songfight taught me a lot. I am forever grateful for Johnny Cashpoint, because here I was, this fledgling musician, and he took me under his wing, saw that there was something good in the midst of all this bad production, and really helped me learn how to better produce.
Sure.
And then there's so many people that helped me kind of turn my writing into things, and helped me learn how to experiment and how to take criticism and how to make better criticisms. And there's so many things that come out of this Songfight experience.
Yeah.
I feel like I have a ton of musician friends who aren't a part of Songfight, and I really wish that they would join, just because there's so much that comes from this experience that it's so good. Right now I am sitting around chomping at the bit for a new title, because I'm like, I want to go for number 85. I'm like I want to shoot for 100 songs.
Navius, it's been a pleasure for sure. I had a feeling it would go a little longer with you, because you'd have so much good input, and you did not disappoint as usual.
Well, hey, if you ever want to talk Songfight stuff, I would love to. I will Zoom with you anytime.
Here's the title card. There's some debate about what the title of this event is. I think this is good. This is better than Distanced.
Yeah.
This is good.
So,
Welcome to Songfight Live. Now, really, truly welcome.
welcome. That was a great way to kick it off, though.
Yeah. And so we've got in the next hour, we've got even more of Glenn talking to Songfight legends.
Got an oral history of Songfight.
Yeah, you might probably need to be a little closer to that. I probably need to turn the mic up too.
You should turn me on.
There we go. How's that?
I don't know. How is it?
Pretty good.
Pretty good. All right. I have a special guest with me. This is G.
I probably need to turn this monitor down too, so we don't get feedback. Anyway, welcome. So this is a new crazy thing we're trying to do this year, like everybody else is trying to do new crazy things. Obviously, live events all have to go virtual. So this is our stab at going virtual. This is week 1 of a 4-week, 5-stream event. At least 5 streams. So how this is going to work is today is the first Saturday of September, and every Saturday in September we're going to have a stream like this with pre-recorded sets from different songfighters. And then we're going to, at some point this month, announce a live fight title, and the live fight will happen on Sunday after the last Saturday of September. So that's the whole scope of it. We do invite anyone in the Songfight community who wants to do extra live streams or extra events to send those over to us. You can go on the boards.
We have a calendar up. So on songfight.org, there is a page about this month of Songfight Live. And we have a calendar there. We would love to add your side events if people want to do other stuff, trivia, listening parties. I mean, anything you can think. We're happy to help cross-promote.
Yeah, totally. So go to songfight.org. Look in the news feed. You'll find a link to the page about this event. So that's probably enough talking for the moment. And now how about we hear from another Songfight legend, Fluffy Porcupine, she's probably going to go over this, but she is, I think, the longest running active songfighter now. And let's hear about that and more. Fluffy Porcupine.
Hey,
Hey, how's it going?
pretty good. Welcome to my messy studio.
Oh, fantastic. Kind of got a similar vibe going on right here as well. Main difference being that instead of a Nintendo Switch nearby, I have a gigantic blue chicken.
Oh, hello, blue chicken.
Yes, this is one of those ones where you squeeze it.
Oh, nice.
And if you squeeze it hard, it goes for 45 seconds.
And if you have enough of those, they like do the THX sound.
Pretty much. Question number 1 is, what is Songfight?
Do you want the literal definition or what it means to me?
Let's go with both.
So, I mean, the literal definition is that Songfight is a songwriting contest of some sort where every 10 days or so a title gets posted and people ostensibly write a new song for ostensibly the title. And then we all share our songs and try not to be too horribly overcritical on the forums. I mean, Songfight is a great community. It's been going for 20 years now. It's been a great inspiration for songwriting and for getting back into songwriting or experimenting with new things. And also just to get pushed to become a lot better. Like when I first started, I thought I was a lot better than I was. And now I'm almost as good as I used to think I was. So
And you've been here longer than anyone else who is still active, which leads into question number 2. How did you find Songfight? Because when is really early on.
Yeah, so back in the early days, like I was following a whole bunch of web comics and like internet stuff, and there were just so many sites that were under the Dumbrella Collective. So like there was a Drew's Diary of an Internet Rock Star. There was Sam Brown's Exploding Dog. There was Diesel Sweeties and just like a few other things like that. And so I noticed like all these things I was reading, they had that little Dumbrella logo on them. So I clicked it and I was like, oh, there's all these other things. And one of these things is, it's called Songfight. It's a songwriting contest. That's interesting. I'm a good musician. I'll join in and see what it's like.
No, I know that feeling. When I first got to Songfight, I thought I was better than I was as well. It's like, oh, people are not just loving every moment of this. So yeah, that's. I think a number of us go through that, unless you're MC front a lot. And question number 3, we have approximately how many songs would you say that you've submitted to Songfight?
I've very much lost count. Not nearly as much as a lot of people, obviously. I think somewhere in like the 40s or 50s. In terms of number of direct Songfight submissions. Then, of course, I've also participated in a lot of the side fights, like Circle of Titles, and I guess there's, Gift of Music isn't quite the same because you're not writing a song, you're covering it, but
sure.
Or like Song Skirmish, that was a thing for a little while, and that hasn't happened. And Theme Song Fight, that was a lot of fun.
Have you ever been part of a winning Songfight entry? And on that note, how important is winning?
So yes, and not very respectively. So I have won solo 3 times myself.
Nice.
And the most recent one being Golf Punk Rides Again, which was the 20th anniversary fight. So that was like extra great. Very warm fuzzies there. And then I've been in a number of other winning entries. So for example, Front a Little Squad, Octothorpe. I think those are the only 2 really, but
sure. But on the same notion, you've got Fluffy Porcupine and you have Sock Puppet too. Which one have you submitted under more?
At this point, Sock Puppet.
Sure.
So the story behind all that is, so Fluffy Porcupine was a name I was doing electronic music under, and it was just sort of like it was just like sort of like a holding thing. So I used to always use Fluffy as like a generic name for like where I didn't want to name something, and it was just like this weird thing. And I eventually got really tired of that name for a bunch of reasons. Like for starters, people thought that was my name.
Oh sure.
Like I go by Fluffy, but that's like a different sort of non-name use of Fluffy.
Sure.
And then also, it was just like that name, it just didn't really suit me anymore. So the reason I moved over to the name Sock Puppet was it's in the internet sense, where like on forums, like there will be people who pretend to be a whole bunch of people to like prop themselves up. And so I was thinking, well, I'm pretending to be a whole bunch of people in a band, and I'm pretending to like do all sorts of different kinds of bands. So, I'm just like always changing genres and just always experimenting with the different stuff. And so, so the name Sock Puppet just reflects that. Oh, sorry. I mean, there's really a really big band that I'm a part of, and there's like so many people in it. And
Sure.
So no, it's just basically sock puppet in the internet sense. And I've submitted under a whole bunch of aliases, like what you alluded to earlier. And most of them have just been like either one-off things or just like indicative of a particular mood. But like, so for example, like Pringle Can, that was actually in response to a thing on the forum where GB got really frustrated at me being very me and said something like, I have the grace and charisma of a wet can of Pringles. And so, or a soggy can of Pringles or something to that effect. So I decided that like whenever I was like making like a purposefully terrible antagonistic song, it would be under Pringle Can.
Pringle Can, yeah.
And then of course there was like a while when I was experimenting with less than 3, like just trying to get back to like electronic roots and also just like playing with my gender presentation and stuff like that. So that's where that whole thing came from. And so it was just an interesting experiment in like playing with different identities. And I've never like completely left all those aspects completely behind. So like in the official band image of Sock Puppet, like if you go to the Sock Puppet artist page, like there's a picture of me, or my persona basically, and then like wearing 2 hand puppets, and one of them is like the sock puppet from the cover of like my first Sock Puppet released album, but the other one is supposed to represent less than 3.
Oh, see, there you go. I didn't know that. Yeah. That's cool. Now, question number 5 is, who have you collaborated with from Songfight?
A lot of people. Not as many as I'd like, but let's see. Obviously, like Octothorpe. I'm basically, whenever Octothorpe exists, I'm a member of it at this point. Let's see. Patrick Clayton, I did a couple of songs with. Front Little Squad, as I mentioned earlier. I did one song with, Billy's Little Trip. So I collaborated with him on Crashing Cars, Counting Stars.
And it just now occurred to me that there's that elite inter echelon blood circle as well.
Oh, right. Yeah, of course. Yeah.
I just now remembered that.
Yeah.
That was a fun moment in Austin, actually.
Yeah. I mean, that was funny how like, like we submitted the song and then the Austin show was while I was still up for a vote. And then we ended up winning that one. So that was neat. And we need to make that happen again. But it's the stars have never quite aligned. Like it was... Like, I think the due date needs to be on June 14th.
There you go. Or right around it at the very least. Yeah.
No, I think Elvis in Space was June 14th. Was
actually, which is probably part of why it came together the way
exactly.
It did. Yeah.
Yeah, because like I think one of us posted, "Oh, hey, that's my birthday," and then like
that's my birthday.
Someone else was like, "Yeah, exactly."
Who are a few of your favorite Songfight artists or bands that you enjoy?
Funny enough, like I always go back to like the really early stuff. So like Prickly Pears,
sure.
Which you might not expect, but like I really liked their sound. Like they had this really amazing lo-fi experimental thing going on.
Certainly.
And there was just like so much like emotion sort of in it. And I wonder what happened to that person. But then like also I just really like a lot of the experimental stuff that's happened. But then also like Frankie is really good. Frankie Big Face.
Clearly, yeah.
Max the Cat was really good. I was just thinking about him the other day because of trying to do the forensics on that one submission where he submitted the logic file instead of the MP3. I don't want to list off too many who I really enjoy because then I am worried that people will feel slighted when I don't.
Understandable. Yeah, and it's just off the cuff. That's part of the thing with off the cuff. Mm-hmm. Doesn't mean that you don't like the other ones either. It's just
There's just been so many amazing musicians who have come through Songfight, and
absolutely
so many who are still here, of course,
doing their thing.
Obviously, there is something about the site that makes people stick around when they decide to stick around.
Sure.
Like it's like if people show up when none of the music's any good, they'll be like, what's this crap? Why would I bother participating? But then like if there's like those one or two things. Oh yeah, Nil. That's another example of an early songfighter.
Love Nil.
Yeah, they were so good. And Roymond has also been so amazing. And I mean, that occurred to me because he did a really good ABCD Puppies when the redo of that title happened. Like, Songfight's been around so long, let's do these redos. And then those were like 15 years ago at this point.
Mirror fights. I've done that to where I've rated old song titles from the archive that were from long before I knew about the website, and it can be a great tool for writing new songs where it's like, I don't know what I want to call this. Let's look through the old titles. Oh, there's one.
On that note, like sometimes like I'll have a song half written for a fight, but then I just can't quite get it finished. But then I'll still finish it later if it's good enough. Like it's like my song "Come Out," for example. That's one where it's like I really wanted to finish it, but I just never did. And then like I eventually did, just for an album much later. Friend flooding is when someone uses their status on something outside of Songfight to get a whole bunch of voters to come in and vote for them so that they can win. And it is a pretty silly thing because, like, Songfight, it's all about just like, it's not really about winning. It's about participating and having fun. And
There's no prize.
yeah, there's no prize. There's no, I mean, at best you get bragging rights, but if you're bragging about cheating, like, what are you really bragging about? Then as far as like my experience with it, like, I mean, so I think a couple of my Songfight wins have been sort of technically friend flooding, like not purposefully. It's just like
You just
I would
telling people
post-
about it. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I would like post about like, oh, hey, I entered into Songfight this week. Listen to all the songs and vote for the ones you like. And then they'll just like, they'll only vote for me. They're like, oh yeah, I didn't bother to listen to once. No,
Yeah.
that's not the point. No, please
Yeah.
don't do that. So like both Baby Be Quiet and Sorry to Inform You, I kind of worry that maybe they won that way. Although, I mean, the vote on Baby Be Quiet, it was like 10 votes anyways. Like, if someone couldn't drum up more than 10 votes naturally, like,
There you go.
it's not really, I don't really worry too much about that.
Absolutely.
And like, I mean, Sorry to Inform You, I think it was a legitimately good song. There were better songs that week. Manhattan Gluttons, I think, was a much better song. And
Sure.
I'm sad that one didn't win, but
I do
but
think
still.
a lot of this ended up getting resolved partially by having the multiple votes too, to where people
yeah,
could-
but people still try to flood in different ways, and so that's always incredibly transparent because like there will be one that's like way out ahead, and then everything else will have that number, or that will have like 1 over n that number of votes added on.
17
like-
votes, 15 votes, 179 votes.
Exactly, yeah. But
So-
at the same time, I mean, it's often the case that like people think that if they win, then they'll be respected a lot more, and that always backfires, or doesn't always backfire, but usually backfires. But so for example, like Octothorpe's very first entry, Been to China, like arguably it may have won because of friend flooding,
Sure.
but that also changed the course of Songfight for the better. Like Octothorpe stuck around. Like Spud has told me and other people several times that like, if Been to China had not won, or if Octothorpe hadn't won Been to China, then Octothorpe wouldn't have stuck around and become such a big powerhouse for so long. And then if that hadn't happened, Spud wouldn't have been around to run the site when Narbotic disappeared.
Speaking of number 8, question number 8, what is your favorite song by Octothorpe? That's what I've been asking everybody.
Oh, geez, that's a really hard one to answer. So many of them are so good in so many weird ways.
Sure.
And a lot of them are like, it's hard to like really judge them today by how I felt about them at the time.
Certainly.
I mean, a lot of them, it's like my favorites have been the ones I've participated in just because it was so much fun.
Oh,
to be a
yeah.
part of that. I mean, Fax Machine is not a great song.
This is the second time this has come up. I believe Spud
So,
told this story, but I can't wait to hear your take on it.
It's not a great song, and there's a very problematic line in it also, which I cringe at now. But it was also such a fun process to record it. Like, we just a whole bunch of us just like had no idea what we were doing song-wise, and so like for example, I was just like playing random riffs on the guitar. Like the recurring bass line is actually me playing the letters cabbage on the guitar. And then,
Because of course it is. Of course it is.
of course, because it seemed fitting. And then like, I was doing like that extemporaneous, like random rambling just because I had no idea what would be good. And then like, Spud like sped it up and did effects to it. And it sounded sort of like the annoyance of the fax machine whining. So that was a lot of fun.
Very cool.
Another one I really liked, which Spud definitely disagrees with me on, is Elements of Style, because that one, Spud was traveling, I believe. he was unable to participate in any case. So he handed the reins over to me. So I produced it completely differently than how Octothorpe normally does stuff.
Certainly.
So it was just it was me and Mad Dog in my home recording studio, just having fun, jamming, and just like doing just something completely un-Octothorpean, but it still sounded like Octothorpe all the same. So
that's very cool. Yeah, I like that. Question number 9. What are some of your favorite memories from Songfight Live events? And how many of the Songfight Live events have you been to, for that matter?
I've been to a lot of them. I would have to count to remember. I've been to most of them. There have definitely been let's see, I did not go to the first 2. And let's see, I missed Austin, or the second Austin. I missed Florida, and I missed Georgia, and I missed Boulder a couple years ago. But other than that, I think I've been to all of them. And my favorite memory, I mean, just the first time I went to Songfight Live in Seattle in 2003. I mean, that changed my life. Like, meeting so many people in person, and just like, making these amazing friends from that, but also just like falling in love with Seattle. I mean, that's a big part of why I live in Seattle now. It's just like, because Seattle was just so amazing, and
huge.
And also just like, having Spud here was a huge part of why I moved here. And then of course, I moved to San Francisco a couple of years later, but I moved back because I just had to move back. Like, Seattle is just, it's the only city I've enjoyed so much I actually moved back to it.
That's really
And a lot of it's because of the people, a lot of it's because of just the city itself. It's just it's an amazing city. And like, if it hadn't been for Songfight Live 2003, who knows how things would have gone. It would have almost certainly been different.
Wow. I almost went to that too, but I had only discovered the site a week or 2 before that. So it was this thought of like, oh, do I want to go to this event that's 5 hours away in this, where I just barely cracked the surface about, though, so.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And so you can thank Mo for this next question. Question number 10 is, what have you learned from Songfight?
I've learned so many things. I've learned that I am not an amazing musician, but that I have the potential to be better.
You have improved over time.
I mean, I hope so. Let's see, I've learned just so much about just like making music and writing lyrics, and producing music, like in terms of like, how to equalize stuff. I'm still not amazing at it, but I'm better at it now.
Better than you were.
Sure. What a compressor's for, what spatialization is for.
Jeff Fall said the same thing about the compressor.
Mm-hmm. And just also just learning to get along better with people. Like,
sure.
It's just, I've always had difficulty relating to other people, and Songfight has been a pretty positive source of change for me for that. Just like learning, like improving the way I present myself, improving the way I communicate with others, improving just like my expectations for just everything in terms of like interpersonal relationships. It's been pretty helpful for me for that. So like, and that's not even to do with songwriting at all, but just like the fact that there's this community that I've wanted to be a part of and have continued to be a part of, and that there's so many people in it who I enjoy the company of, and it's been such a great source of friendship and personal development.
Very nice. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Have a great night, and thanks again.
Yeah, thanks. You too. See ya.
Bye now.
Songfight Live. Hey, everybody. Thank you again to Glenn for that interview with Fluffy.
She had some great stuff to say. I love that she talked about the community, because that's my favorite part of Songfight.
Yeah.
I mean, the people are, whatever.
The booze is what I like.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's we're gonna have 4 interviews tonight. Those are the first 2. You've seen the first 2. We're gonna do 2 more, and then we'll get to the performances at around 7 Mountain Time, which is where we are. So do your math. You thought we should maybe introduce ourselves?
I think maybe not everybody knows who we are. Like, I think know who we are, but not all everybody knows who we are.
So my name is Jeff Fall. I live here in beautiful Denver, Colorado with my wife, Leah. I am so just look that up. Oh, we have a.
We have a Slack message. The slackers are slacking.
Oh, did we panned opposite? Is what Ken is pointing out. So if you've ever listened to the I don't know if it's called the Strange Brew album, but Bob and Doug McKenzie, they have a really awesome routine where they've recorded their album with them on either side of the stereo channel, and so they get a good 5 minutes out of that. But
I hear in comedy you're not supposed to explain the jokes, like it makes them less funny.
well,
Is that
we don't. I mean, I'm
true?
just telling you about another joke.
Oh.
I'm not making a joke right
Oh.
now.
I'm Leah, by the way. I'm charm offensive, and I'm married to Jeff. So that's how I ended up here at Songfight Live. I'm pretty much just a one night only, once a year. So I don't.
You haven't spilled blood on the boards.
I haven't. I have not spilled blood on the boards. I did co-host an event a couple years ago.
Yes.
So I spilled blood in other ways.
Yes.
I do want to remind everybody we have an awesome Facebook page. Head on over to facebook.com/songfight.org. We are posting occasionally in the Facebook event there for tonight. We put up a bingo card for those of you who want to play along at home. And I have to tell you that the interviews so far, I might have blackout pretty soon here.
You might have blackout?
Yeah, that's when. So bingo, you go across, you go up and down, you go kitty corner. But if you can fill the whole board, blackout. So I'll just fill space while he's over there typing. Hi, how's it going? Thanks for coming. I hope you know about Songfight already and you didn't stumble on this or YouTube suggested it to you and you're like, where am I?
That would be a weird thing. 'Cause I was realizing there's a lot of talk about music so far and not a lot of music, but we're gonna make up for that soon.
Okay.
Yeah. Anything else? Let's see. We plugged that. I'll plug again. We're doing this for 4 weeks. This is the first experiment of how this is going to go. So we have. Oh yes. We have a set from me. We have a set from the two of us. We have a set from Flebia. I hope I pronounced that correctly. We have a set from Glenn Case. We have a medley from Heine from Germany. And we also have a song from Caravan Ray. All of that is coming up starting at the 7 Mountain time.
7 o'clock hour. 6 o'clock if you're in California, 9 o'clock if you're in DC.
And with that, we'll go back to some interviews. So we got 2 interviews left tonight. They are both fight masters. We're going to take them in numerical order. So here is Spud.
First question: what is Songfight?
What is Songfight? It says right there on the webpage, doesn't it? What is Songfight? Didn't used to say that, by the way. Does say it now, right? It used to be just like, what is Songfight? You had to do it to find out. And you know what? That's still the answer. You have to do it to find out. Songfight is a place where people who need some sort of a inspiration to make some music will find one in the form of a title, in the form of reviews from their peers. Their superiors and their inferiors will all tell them what to do. And so it's a place where you can do that. It's for me personally, it was a prompt to start making music again in my life.
How did you find Songfight is question number 2.
We found Songfight. Octothorpe was all working, not as Octothorpe. We were a bunch of techies, and we were working in an office together, and one of our office mates, oh man, I wish I could remember which one it was. One of the Dumbrella sites that was a comic site he was a fan of. And through migrating across the board, he ran into Songfight and said, hey, you guys are musicians, aren't you? At least a little bit. We should do this, right? Because we really weren't all that busy. And so, and not only that, we had 6 offices, and we had 3 of us all working in one space. And so we had all these extra offices. So we said, all right, we'll bring in some instruments, which were like a little Casio, this mic.
Oh, wow.
55S. Which barely worked, as you can probably tell if you listen to our first recording. I mean, it's like, you know how old this thing is, and the capsule has never been replaced.
Oh, wow.
So it's completely solid in there. No bounce. I'm making excuses for our bad sound. But,
Now, approximately how many songs would you say that you have submitted to Songfight?
Approximately
Approximately.
85.
Okay.
Am I right? You're probably looking at it.
I'm not looking at it, but I imagine you're right. I would figure that Octothorpe probably had close to 100.
Yeah, maybe, maybe not.
Is anything that you've submitted under aliases?
Barely, no, not that you wouldn't know.
Sure.
I mean, we have submitted songs with others that have been, as a matter of fact, we've submitted 80 songs under our name, by the way.
Oh, there you go. It starts with an 8. It's perfect.
That was pretty close. We've submitted as Pathetic Octothorpe. We've submitted as, a couple other names, but included Octothorpe. Never anything that you couldn't tell.
Yeah.
And if you did, you could tell anyway.
One of my favorite stories about Octothorpe was, I believe you had a whiteboard where you were going after each person's, like, we're going to try to get something that resembles a positive review.
That's right. That's
from
right.
all of these people. Could you tell us about that?
Well, when we first got on, and look, when we first, I'd never been on the board when we did our first song. I'd never been there. Aaron said you should do this. We did it. We submitted. And then I started watching the boards. I started seeing the reviews coming. I'm like, holy crap, these are awful. I mean, everybody's saying you guys suck. And so I said, all right, look, we do suck. It's true. But that means there's lots of room for improvement. And so we're going to take these people's comments and we're going to take them seriously. And we have this whiteboard. It was an entire wall of an office, 8 feet by probably 16 feet of whiteboard. And we started writing down people's names and what their beefs were, And so we had like 20 people on that list who had said bad things about us. And every week when we did a song, we addressed an issue that was up there on the board. We couldn't address them all at one time.
Sure.
Well, we said, okay, Frankie says, buy a 3-prong adapter, guys. So we realized, we have a little noise in our background, a little hum in the song. We're going to get rid of that hum, And so we did. That was our goal for that week, Not only just make the song, but with the added, the little thing in the song says added challenge, optional challenge. We had our own optional challenge. Get rid of the hum, whatever it might be,
So fun.
MC Frontalot said,
choke on a cheese wheel.
Choke on a cheese wheel and die, right? So we wrote a song about choking on a cheese wheel. We thought this is a way to appeal to this guy, respond to that. Our whole song was about choking on a cheese wheel. And you know what? We got good reviews from Frontalot. And as you know, we ended up playing with him.
Yes, we did at the Penny Arcade Expo 2004 backing band. That's so crazy fun. Question number 4 is, have you ever been part of a winning song fight entry?
Well, of course.
Do you remember which one was the first one you
won? Enough of them, you're going to win someday. I think my favorite winning, I'm going to check on this since I have our page up right now. If you look on this in Song Fight The Rocketing, you'll probably find out that we have like 5 winning songs.
Sure.
And my favorite one, this is a story about, is Fax Machine.
Okay.
Which is an oddball winning song in terms of the fact that we did not really write that song or even record it. That song was created in post. We just recorded a bunch of stuff. We were hoping we were going to get into a groove, find something. What is this song going to be? John was writing stuff down on the fly, try this lyric. It's like nothing. It just never came together. And Fluffy was drinking wine and drinking Red Bull at the same time, had a kind of a bad reaction to that. It was just sort of going crazy, started doing this Red Bull thing. And so that night, I spent all night that night, because it was the day before the deadline, with these clips that we had recorded, making a song out of them. It was completely made up out of clips that were not written to be a song. And we won.
Now, how important is winning?
It varies. Basically, it's not important at all. That's the basic answer. It's not important at all. What's important is doing it. You got this prompt, you did it, you feel good. You say, hey, I did it again. I made a song. I got it. Not only did you write it, you wrote it, you recorded it, you did whatever you're going to do in post processing, and you submitted it. You made it through the process. It's a good feeling. And not only that, that's it. You're done. It's not like most of my work where I finish my work one day and I have to go back in the morning and start at it again. This is like, you're done. You checked all the boxes, you're done. So winning is only important if you think you're going to win and you don't.
That's a great way of looking at it.
Like when you get a song like Skyline and you write the best song you've ever written in your life and you record it, and it comes out almost the way you as close as it could, given your circumstances, to the way you want it to come out. And like Compressor shows up, having not been in Songfight for 2 years, and wins. It's like he didn't win because he had a good song. He won because, hey, look, it's Compressor. He's back. It's like, geez.
That's fair.
Should have won that fight.
Yeah, well, it's a classic Octothorpe one. I put it in my top 3 for sure. All right, so who have you collaborated with from Songfight?
Oh, I'm sure I can't remember them all off the top of my head. Quite a few. I provided keyboards for Ken, vocals with BLT, a couple of collaborations with Patrick Clayton, Front a Little, of course.
Oh yes,
Front a Little Squad, Pathetic Wannabes.
It's a long list, I'm sure.
It's a long list, yeah. And, it's either some minor instrumental part that where somebody feels there's something that is up my alley, like they need the fake horn, or they're looking for this. They're looking for the spud sound. They want this sound, and so that's what they go for. That's what BLT wanted. He wanted this.
Who are a few of your favorite Songfight artists or bands that you personally enjoy? Like, who, if you had a Songfight Hall of Fame, who comes to mind first?
Whenever there's a fight goes up, and I don't have time to listen to all of them, there are a few that I always grab. Right, I will always grab whatever Ken's up to.
Sure.
Just because it's going to be good music. I always have a listen to that Paco del Stinko.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's going to rock. I kind of wish BLT would come back.
There you go.
Because it was a nice heavy duty sound. I don't listen to music casually. I don't have music on during the day. It's not my background. It's like when I listen to music, I listen to music. Right?
Sure.
And so when I'm listening to music, I want it to have some impact. It's not just there for background. I want it to be like in my face. Obviously Blue, anytime. We'll take Blue coming back to do anything.
You know it.
Even just to, rag on us.
The best reviewer. If there was a Songfight Hall of Fame for reviewers, I'd say that Blue would be top of my list. Yeah.
Blue would like rip you a new asshole and then send you a mixer.
Yep. And when he finally liked something that you did, you knew that you were doing something right. Or at least, or maybe completely wrong because everyone else hated it, but Blue loved it at least. So. Checked him off the list. There you go. All right, question number 7. What is friend flooding, and do you have any personal experience with it?
There is no such thing as friend flooding. There is only beginner's luck. That's what we call it. Of course, I have personal experience with it. It's how we won our first song fight. Here's the deal. Friend flooding. Okay, what is it? Let's suppose we take your terminology. It means you get all your friends to come and vote for you. There's a fight, you've got a song, you come and get your friends to vote for you. Okay, but song fight's been going on for 20 years. You can't get your friends to keep coming back every week after week after week. They'll only do it the first time, maybe the second time. That's why it's called beginner's luck. It should not be seen as a bad thing unless it's abused. The negative side of friend flooding is the reason why there was a change in the voting system many years ago. You used to be able to only vote for one. And after a long time, it became clear that what that meant is that if every single person who voted agreed on what the second best song was, let's suppose that everyone agreed that you had the second best fight song in the fight, but they all disagreed on what the first was. As a matter of fact, if the first place winner only got one vote from every person because everybody, then there would be a 12-way tie for first place, and that's it.
Yeah,
you would get nothing. You'd be second, even though you would have gotten 12 votes if it wouldn't have been, So the change was made to be weighted, right? So if the second place person was agreed upon by everyone, but the first place was not, the second place should actually win.
Yeah.
So we don't do it by order of vote. It's still just vote for these. And so whoever gets the most votes wins.
Yeah.
Much simpler.
So question number 8 that I've been asking everyone, what is your favorite song by Octothorpe?
You've been asking everyone that?
Yes. No, I really have. That's because it's question number 8.
Yeah. Oh man, that's a tough one. Favorite song by Octothorpe. Well, I gotta put Skyline right up there.
Yep.
We could not get away without playing Skyline if we're doing a live show. Look, it's an audience favorite. It's a good song. Whether it was actually my favorite Octothorpe song or not, I'm not exactly sure. We spent a lot of the early days, driving around in the car listening to Octothorpe. It's a funny thing. You get the three guys who made the songs, driving around in the car with like Octothorpe. We have a song with that lyric in it. Listening to Octothorpe on the radio. It's in our song. It's in our song Highway. But it's true. We actually listen to Octothorpe songs. So I have they're like different songs that are favorites for different reasons. Tiny Room is a favorite of mine because it was a breakaway song. It changed our sound. It changed our genre.
Nice.
It had a higher production level and way more energy than any other song we had done up to that point. And so it changed how we did things.
And I'm especially love the story of Is It Cold and how you recorded that and couldn't hear the music, so you had to guess.
Right. Yeah. Is It Cold? Is It Cold was a tough song to record because I didn't have access to our equipment. I was recording it at home on voice recorder on my phone, so I had no mixer, and so I just had to record the piano and time it, and make marks on my watch when I was getting to certain points in it, and then record the vocals on a completely separate track, not hearing the music, and I nailed it pretty close.
Considering, yeah, it's so good, so good.
That's all that is. That's a right and left channel mixed to mono.
It's insane. It's so fun. Question number 9. What are some of your favorite memories from Songfight live events?
I have, a favorite memory of mine is you jumping up and playing bass for Brother Machine.
Yeah.
That was a big deal. It made me, it made me realize what kind of a community Songfight was, that someone could do that, would do it, could do it, did it, so I mean, it's like that just really, made me happy.
Thank you. That was one of the highlights for me for obvious reasons too. And I look back at that and thought, oh my goodness, I didn't even ask permission, but I realized when I look back at the clip, Seth asked for drummers to come up. He didn't ask for bass players, but he got a bass player.
A couple other ones, I've been to a lot of Songfight lives, and, so I won't try to give you a bit, but I'll give you one more bit. A very fun thing was going to New York unannounced, right? I mean, and I just made the decision that day. I jumped on a plane, showed up at the show. I had no place to stay, nothing, just in New York. I'm just okay, here I am now in New York.
Just winging it.
And so Roymond took me in, and I spent a night at Roymond's. The next night I spent in New York, right? The next night, what I did is I took off in the afternoon, and I walked across the Brooklyn Bridge. I walked into, actually I left in the morning because I stopped in Soho and had breakfast at a little blues place, and I walked all the way up Broadway, up past the park. I stopped at a Rock Hard Cafe and had lunch. And then once I had gotten to the park, I turned around, I came back down on the other side through Hell's Kitchen, had a beer at 3 o'clock in the morning in a bar. And I spent the entire day walking New York. I did galleries, I did bars, I did restaurants. I shopped for underwear because it wore out on a walk like that, at Urban Outfitters, I think. But yeah, that was just a fantastic time.
Excellent.
Doing a completely impromptu 2 days in New York with no plans.
That had to be exciting. I mean, a little nerve-wracking, but very exciting.
A little nerve-wracking, yeah. Thank you, Roymond and his wife.
What is a story from Songfight that you've experienced that people may not know about, or just in general a funny memory from Songfight that maybe people haven't heard?
I don't know. I usually tell my stories. I don't keep them secret. I'm a promoter, man.
Yeah,
You know, I mean, it's like if I'm going to do it, I'm going to tell people about it.
absolutely. Well, and in your
Oh,
case,
yeah, look, I'm going to tell you one from. I'm just going to give you a little, just to answer your question.
sure.
Van Nuys, California. We stayed in this motel, with like barbed wire across the top of the auto gate. Right.
Oh my.
When you drove in, the gate would come across, and there was barbed wire on the top of it. And it's like you were visiting somebody in prison, right? And so we went into the lobby, and there was like this glass booth with a guy with a little teller window. You know, it's like slide your driver's license in here, and there was a guy over here like dressed like Batman. You know, with sword belts and like helmets, and it's like he's like, you know, all right, who are these people? You know, it's like, oh my God. And anybody who came to the rooms had to like leave their ID behind at the front desk.
Wow.
You know, and it was the freaking scariest situation.
Wow.
You know, ended up being a fun thing to have done.
Sure.
But it was like, whoa.
Fun story in retrospect, but at the time.
In retrospect. But wow. The point is that Songfight has given us a lot of interesting experiences.
Now, I realize I didn't start the recording at the very beginning, so can you kind of tell the first half of that again? The question was...
No.
That's fine, too. I'll just use the second half. It's fine.
You know how hard it is to pull off this Spud persona? You know, come on, man.
No, that's perfect. The second part of that is especially
No.
great.
What part was the first part?
It was, we were saying, what have you learned from Songfight? And originally you were talking about the ways that it ended up making you a better producer.
Yeah, well, you know, learning from Songfight, like I said, it falls into many categories. There's a technical side of things where I learned to be a music producer, learn to slice and dice pieces of bits of waves and stick them together and make music out of them. Sometimes you start with music and you make it better. As we talked about before, sometimes you start with a pile of junk and you see what you can do to you know, it's like a Rubik's Cube of putting a song together sometimes.
Absolutely.
So I learned that, you know, and my instruments, I learned to play some new instruments. I learned to play some of the instruments I already played better. Songfight enabled me to pick up those instruments, or required me to, in order to put songs together. And since then, since we haven't been as active on Songfight, of course, I have been playing those same instruments with other people. But Songfight got me going on those. Look, it's got to go back to the social aspect, you know? I mean, it goes back to learning what a community can do. What the value of the contributions of a community can be. You know, when Songfight started out, it was sort of growing organically until a point at which it was you know, threatened with failure, threatened with going away. Sure. Because the infrastructure wasn't there to support it. And the community came together. You know, I participated, JB participated. People hung in there and they made it happen. And so, you know, the learning experience there was like, you know, keep on trucking. You know, you gotta, and it's not just you. You gotta pull a few people along with you, and keep it going. And if you do that, you can, you know, here we are, 20 years later. You know.
Absolutely.
So I learned is, you know, it's worth it. The effort is worth it.
Great note to end on. Thank you very much, Spud. I appreciate your time.
All right, nice shirt, Glenn.
Thank you. Yes.
Yeah.
I won the contest and got added.
Contest, right?
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Hey, can you turn that big dial down?
I can turn that big dial down. Just all the way down?
Yep, all the way down,
right.
so we don't get feedback.
Okay, the big dial is down. Who thinks it's a bad idea that I am still drinking coffee at 6:45 Mountain Daylight Time?
Thank you for not saying standard time. That's a pet peeve.
It's not standard time.
Hello.
Hi.
I just realized we've been hearing a lot of talking about music and no music, so I think everyone probably would appreciate me just playing some music on my phone so that everybody can hear.
This is the highest quality way to play this song.
I mean, it represents... this is probably back in the 64K mono days, so we'll just let that play.
That's a good bed. I like that as a music bed. It's just...
So, yeah, we're still here.
We're still here. You look... My bingo card is looking good, guys.
And
pretty
probably some of those happened, but you zoned out. So
I mean, maybe some of these are lies. Who knows?
maybe, yeah. Cool. So welcome back to Song Fight Live 2020. Not really live. Oh, sorry. Song Fight Live stream 2020 : social and distant. So we're coming up pretty soon. We're gonna have some sets. And the first set will be me, just so you know. And then we're gonna end with Glenn, and then there are gonna be many people in between.
Very nice.
But before we do all that, we are going to hear a little bit from Fightmaster 2, John Benjamin of the John Benjamin Band. So let me
Pause that. Again, we are Charm Offensive, Ad, Leah, and Jeff here from Denver, hosting night 1 of 5. There's 4 of these, and then a special live fight that Spud will host at the end of the month.
Yep. This is a month-long event. We're just getting started, folks. All right, here we go. This is we're going to talk a little bit with John Benjamin of the John Benjamin Band.
What is Songfight?
Songfight is a venerable online songwriting competition. We put up a title and a deadline. People make their songs from scratch. Can't be pre-recorded songs. Can't be other people's content. It has to be something that you recorded for the title. Whoever comes along, listens, and votes for their favorites or just votes for their friends, you probably lose. And then we do it again. And we've been doing it for forever, it seems like, at this point.
How did you find Songfight initially?
My friend Frank, who is on Songfight under the name Frankie Bigface, he and I were doing songwriting sessions at his house in Lancaster, Pennsylvania. We were exploring songwriting and trying to get better at it. He mentioned that one of our favorite bands, Fountains of Wayne, had done a song, She's Got a Problem, and it came about by somebody just scribbling the title on a napkin and saying, hey, write a song for this. And we said, hey, let's try that. So we tried it a couple of times ourselves, trading titles to each other. I'm an internet person, so maybe this is happening on the internet somewhere. I Googled it, found songfight.com at that time, and told Frank about it, and the rest is history. We both participated for the first time in the fight where the title was On a Line.
When did you guys take over? When did it become songfight.org?
I don't actually know when we took over. It was because it was a gradual kind of process. The person who had created Songfight and started it seemed to be getting tired of doing it, and so his participation in the titles grew ever more spaced out in time, but there was a community that was still very enthusiastic about doing it. When that started to happen, another longtime songfighter, Spud, decided to crank up a series of interim titles to an interim contest to happen between Songfight official titles.
And that was called the Meanwhile, right? That's Meanwhile.
Called them Meanwhile. Previously, I had registered songfight.org and .net because I was very into Songfight and I didn't want them to get squatted, so I just registered them to keep them safe for the community, and it turns out to have been a good idea. So we said, hey, let's just officially switch over to songfight.org. We took the very early internet web style of songfight.com, plastered it on songfight.org, rebuilt kind of a back end to handle the voting, and said, all right, we're going to do it over here now, everybody. But that's how I got involved. I just registered the domains. I didn't want to let it die. And not quite 20 years later for me, I still don't want to let it die.
Now, approximately how many songs would you say that you've submitted to Songfight?
Just under my band name or all told?
Maybe both. Like how many under your name and maybe how many other ones? Just approximately.
I think officially I've entered 50 or so under the John Benjamin Band. I've probably done another 20 or 30 collaborations under different names, I think. Somewhere around 80. And then, I write songs outside of Songfight too.
Have you been part of a winning Songfight entry?
Not very often. 10, 15, something like that. It's not a very high percentage for me. It's lower than it should be
But
so would you say that winning, how important is winning?
it's not important at all to me, just because of this, just the vagaries of subjectivity and who's going to vote that week, and whether there's somebody brand new who's participating that week, in which case they're very enthusiastic and they promote it to all their friends, and their friends come and vote for them, and so they're likely to win, like a first-time songfighter phenomena that we've noticed. We call it friend flooding.
I was about to ask, question number 7 was, what is friend flooding, and do you have any personal experience with it?
Friend flooding is when you submit to Songfight and then you get all your friends to come and vote for you. And they don't really care. They actually, usually, I think, don't really care about your song. They just are your friends, so they're going to support you. And they tend not to support anybody else. They don't participate on the forums, and it aggravates everybody, I think, except for me. I don't care. I think that if you have friends who are willing to support you, more power to you. If you have fans, like we've had some people that have fans and they submit and they win because their fans come and vote for them. And I'm like, you worked hard to get those fans. It's fine. It's not like they didn't like your song because they're your fans. And they probably would have, just out of fandom, liked your song the best. So it's a legitimate win. I think, in the minority of people. I think most Songfight, especially old timers, despise friend flooding and think it's cheating, and I don't really care. There's like nothing at stake. We're going to do another song. We're going to do another title next week. And so, it's not like there's a prize. They didn't steal anything other than some fake bragging rights.
Yep, just bragging rights.
After a while, if you Songfight for some time, you start to kind of feel more like it's a less of a promotional and prestige thing and more of a practice and exercise and test of yourself, right? So you'll start to say, no, I'm going to submit and I'm going to just not tell anybody about it and see how it fares. And then if you get really into, like, I'm going to see how good I am, then you start submitting under other names, right? To see, I don't want my past history to influence people, for good or bad, right? If you've been submitting crap up until that point and you're like, all right, I'm much better now, I'm really going to take this serious, then you do a different name and submit something that sounds a lot better. It's all how you want to play the game, right? There aren't many rules. The only rules are, we'll disqualify you if you enter a song you've previously written. We'll disqualify you if you submit a song that's obviously not about the title, because it's not a prompt, it's a title.
How often would you say that you've actually had to disqualify songs? Because I don't feel like it's happened that often.
Like 3 or 4 times in 17 years.
Wow, that's incredible.
Almost, very rarely, I'm sure there's stuff in the archives that just wasn't caught. But, we're not strict. We'll think about it if somebody complains about it, or if it's like somebody submits a song and the file name is just obviously, track 1 from my last album.
Now, who have you collaborated with on Songfight?
Glenn Case, I have collaborated with, I think. Did we do Songfights together?
I don't know if we actually did a Songfight. We've definitely worked outside of that with Atari 2600 at the very least.
Yeah, at the very least. I've collaborated with almost everybody from my kind of year, from the kind of class of 2001, from Frankie to Jeff from Ad to Mo to Damien's of both stripes, to people who aren't around anymore. I like it.
Of people who have not submitted to Songfight in a while, who would you love to see return?
I would like to see Carol Cleveland Sings come back. His name is Thomas. His band name is Carol Cleveland Sings. Anything that gets him to make more music, he's still creating. I wouldn't mind seeing Brad Sucks come back. Wouldn't mind another MC Frenelot song. It's been quite some time. I would like to see Puce come back. I think King Arthur hasn't participated in a while, so that would be kind of cool to see him drop another song in there. I wouldn't mind another full production Octothorpe song.
Yes, I agree.
Just for the heck of it, for the epicness of it.
Yeah, and my question number 8 is, what is your favorite song by Octothorpe? Put you on the spot there.
Bean to China.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's a very good one. I'd say Skyline is probably my like I've got Skyline, Is It Cold, and Zombie Sun are probably my top three.
Skyline's good. It has shouting in it. That's always fun.
Shouting is fantastic. But who are a few of your favorite songfight artists or bands that you enjoy?
I think it was Drive by Juke Geit is always one that I put on lists for people. So sometimes I'll have to introduce people to Songfight. Like my wife, I had to introduce her to Songfight. And the way that I did that was I went back to the archive and I found a lot of good songs and I put them on a playlist for her. I think I might have burned them to CD. And I said, this is what we get. I didn't, we also get a lot of trash, but we get a good proportion of quality music coming out. And so I think Juke Geit's Drive is on there. Space Cadet by Brother Machine. Accelerator by Kid Ace is always on there. Bioluminescent by Puce. There are a lot. Almost every one of the MC Frontalot songs. Romantic Cheapskate by Henrietta and the Hostage is a good one. Dad, I'm Changing by Metal Mags. Most of Ad Music's submissions were great. Your submissions are typically fine quality, sir. Almost everybody who song fights for quite some time winds up having a song that is like, oh man, that's actually good. Yeah. Even if you hate everything else that they do, they it's like a stop clock. It's right twice a day. So, and people improve over time.
What are some of your favorite moments from Songfight live events? Because I know that you've been to a number of them. You've hosted at least one of them as well.
Well, I've been to almost all of them except for Wisconsin. I didn't go to.
Sure.
I think I did miss a San Francisco.
Were you there for the first year?
Yep. I was there at the Hot Lunch. That's where I met Jeff, Damien, and the whole gang. And what was their band name? Ass Bags. Those guys.
I don't even know about the Ass Bags.
No, Ass Bags was another. Ranch on Suede had a name. He did some submissions under Ass Bags.
Wow.
So Ranch on Suede was at the first one. And Mo was there, and Gabi Alter and Brandon Patton were all there. And that year we did a live fight that was an improvised fight. So it wasn't that we came in with songs. We all had to, I think we all just improvised around the word Hot Lunch. I don't know if there's any recording of that.
So would you say that the second year was the first year that we had a live fight title? When did that start?
Probably the second year. What was this? Was the second year in Lancaster?
I believe Lancaster with Frank hosting.
At that point, there weren't a whole lot of titles yet, so we were still doing kind of a wheel of titles sort of thing for the like what song is everybody going to play. But eventually it became like there's so many titles and so many people have not participated in the same fight that it was just like, all right, everybody just play a set of your favorite songs. We couldn't no longer just spin the wheel and say, all right, who's got an I Love You, or who's got a ABCD Puppies.
That would have been a completely different mistake. Now you'd be spinning that wheel. Berkeley Social Scene again.
Yeah. Octo's got a song.
Octothorpe's got one for this. Exactly.
Yeah, well, Octothorpe's got one as long as it's from, before 5 years ago or something like that.
Exactly.
I have a window of time when I was participating a lot, and then it became more and more sporadic. I really am a proponent of the idea that it's song fight, not song love. And so I am dedicated to maintaining the idea that our forums are about feedback and criticism and not unmitigated support.
Yeah.
There are plenty of places on the internet if you want to write songs and just get people to support your creative output, which is all well and good. It's just that's not what Songfight's about to me. And since I'm one of the people that runs it, that is
kind of goes.
I'm going to dictate what it's for. So
you've been paying the bills for a while.
So there was a while when I was trying to be like really critical and hopefully not often mean. I think that you can be very critical and serious about it. Like, this is garbage and you know it, and not be mean about it. I just firmly believe that we're there to give each other feedback and criticism and try to get better at writing songs, and not to just say, you did it. You made a song. You should cheer about making a song. I don't really think so. My 3-year-old makes songs, but do you want to get better? We're here to try to get better at it, and I think that's why you should do Songfight. You don't have to be great. but you do have to say, I want to practice and I want to improve, and I'm going to listen to people, and I'm going to try to get better. I'm going to try to win.
What is a story from Song Fight that you have experienced that people may not know about? Like a band name that people didn't realize you were associated with outside of Abjure?
I don't know what you're talking about. Well, my favorite one is that I am the lead singer of Shark Tornado.
Oh, yes.
Famously only submitted one song and then broke up. It's basically me and Dubose Triangle. My go-to memory from Song Fight Live is probably from either the very first one, Hot Lunch, or the very first Austin. At Hot Lunch, the venue's name was Hot Lunch. They were trying to make a venue. It's something else now. Song Fight Live has a history of cursing venues. Like, we'll have a Song Fight Live, and then the year later,
They're gone.
They're gone. And that probably has something to do with the fact that they're so desperate that they're giving away their venue for an entire weekend to ragtag groups of people who promise to drink a lot, more so than any kind of mystical effect. But let's say we've cursed quite some number of venues.
Yeah, no, the one in Spokane's gone. The Empyrean didn't last much longer after that.
Yeah, Hot Lunch is gone. The one from Austin, first Austin, is gone. The Spokane ones are gone. The ones that we had in Seattle when Spud hosted, they're gone.
Wow. There you go.
Anyway, so at Hot Lunch, the toilet didn't really work very well, and so I had to pee really bad, and it was time to drive back to the hotel. And Brandon Patton of MC Frontalot's band, Black Lotus, so he drove us back in his van, and I was lying on the floor in the back of his van. I think it only had two front seats because he was carting drums around. Anyway, I had to pee so bad, and the whole way to the hotel, Brandon was just talking about waterfalls and dripping water and faucets, and it was awful. So that was funny, but
in retrospect, but probably not at the time.
At the time, I was not amused. And then the other one is the very first Austin. So Jeff and Eric of 1516 Puzzle and myself, we traipsed around Austin looking for lime juice because we were going to make as much kamikaze as we possibly could for the shows. And we got really drunk. So I remember just walking around Austin trying to find lime juice. Jeff and I had a habit of collaborating on the live fights. We did Please the Pig, and we also did the That's the Spirit was the live fight for Lancaster.
Your live fight ones, you bring the goods on those, I think.
Well, my philosophy is that if you want to win the live fight, you have to be one of three things. Cute helps a lot. So you can be very poignant. So if you can, it's hard to do in a Song Fight live fight, be poignant, but a couple of people have pulled it off. I can't. It's not my disposition to be poignant or funny. And the way that I know how to be funny on short notice, which is a live fight, is to be very, very vulgar. So most of my live fights are pretty gross.
What have you learned from Song Fight?
I've learned a lot. I've learned how to write songs, probably write songs at all, just almost exclusively through trial and error. But I've also been inspired to research and learn and get better at that craft. I've learned what matters to me when I'm being criticized and what to get mad about and what not to get mad about. So I like the thick skin. It's less of a thick skin and more of a philosophical sort of thing where, when I post a song at this point, having done it so long, I know what the flaws are and I know why they are there. I've submitted despite them or left them in intentionally. So when somebody calls them out and says they don't like them or they point them out, I'm like, yeah, I knew that was there. So it's fine. I don't expect anybody to give me credit for it. I've learned how to not how to deal with people. I still don't know how to deal with people. But I've learned the difference between knowing someone only online and having met them in person, and how someone that you can't stand on the message boards, when you meet them in person, they might become a really good friend.
Sure.
And after that moment, when you've met in person and you've kind of bonded over some shared experiences, then the same behavior that drove you crazy on the message boards prior, you see it in a whole nother context and perspective, and suddenly it's, your life is just a lot better and more tolerable having done that. These are incredibly valuable life experiences for me, which is why I keep doing it.
Once again, thank you very much for your time. Great fun. Appreciate it.
Can't wait to see all these. This is going to be a really good
Content.
archive, good history.
Absolutely.
Song fight, song fight. Get a title and a date, send a song in. Everybody votes, then we do it again. Song fight, song fight. Get a title and a date, send a song in. Everybody votes, then we do it again.
Everybody votes and we do it again. G wants to know, is that all the people?
That is all the people.
That is all the people. So, welcome again, once again.
Hello,
welcome to Songfight Live 2020. Let me start again. Songfight Live Stream 2020. Social and distant. My name is Jeff. I record music as Ad. This is my wife, Leah. We submit live songs together as Charm Offensive, and you will hear from both Ad and Charm Offensive tonight.
Actually, yeah, we've done a little bit. I did an experiment. I have a child climbing on me. Those of you with children understand. Those of you who don't have children, hello, here's some birth control. There's a child climbing on me. Song fight. We want your songs. Remember, this is the first of 4, so 5 if you count the live fight.
Yeah.
So on the boards right now, there is a thread. On the main page, there's a link to a page. In both of those places, either of those places, you will find a Dropbox where you can upload songs. So everything you're about to see tonight are songs that came in through that Dropbox. Some people have submitted sort of best of compilations. Some have submitted entire sets. I think the next thing we're going to watch is something I made.
Yeah, so a lot of individual songs. We're also just other ways to contribute. If you don't want to play one of your songs, or you have a set one week and you want to submit, you want to help us out for another week. I mean, I'm really interested to see covers. If you want to cover a song fight song, someone else's song fight song, that's something we did in Denver here a few years ago when we had Song Fight Live here, and that was really cool.
Where we broke the venue streak.
Oh, yes. So,
Sort
yeah,
of.
our venue was Black Shirt Brewing in Denver. Maybe we'll submit a photo of where that is later. Anyone that came to, the very few people that came to that event will be a little shocked at how that area looks now, but Black Shirt Brewing is still open.
Denver Bicycle Cafe is not.
It is not.
But that's because of a rent dispute. It had nothing to do with us.
No excuses. The curse
The
doesn't.
curse? Okay, the curse sort of lives on in Denver. Partial curse.
Cool. Yes. So once again, please contribute. Hit the boards. Go to that page. Find the Dropbox link. Contribute in any way you can think of.
Send us your songs.
Yes. So now let's get some music going.
You ready for some music?
So we're gonna start off with a single song, a Charm Offensive song. This is actually, it is a song fight title, but it was not recorded in time. I'm sure many people can sympathize with that. So we'll start with that song, and then that will lead right into the ad set. So welcome to Song Fight live stream. Here we go. Hello, and welcome to the ad set. We're going to get started with a friendly reminder. You keep it to yourself, 'cause it's the only thing you've got left. Your well is bone dry, and when the river runs, it only runs red. So you curse the yellow sky and the orange sunset, and you curse the true believers, but you're the only one of them I've ever met. A friendly reminder. The word it gets around, they say you got yourself a brand new thing on the other side of town, but I'm pretty sure it's nothing. 'Cause if I know you well, and I do, I can say this much: you're an exaggerator and a shameless self-promoter who's not afraid to sink lower. A friendly reminder. Quit playing with fire. You got nothing to hide, and that's alright. You got nothing to hide from. You see, it's all been in your mind. I wouldn't say something like that to just anyone. A friendly reminder. The desert grows wider. You run, but you're tired. So lie down beside her. Up next, I think that one was a winner. This one was not a winner. This is A&A. Ba-ba-da, ba-ba-da. A&A, and I feel okay, and I think the worst is over. I think the worst is over. I think the worst is over, but anyone and anything could set me off with a moment's notice. Anywhere and anytime I see you, you're not there, but I see you. Float away in the air and the ashtray, the wind blows me over. The shadow in the corner, the floor creaks and I can't sleep, and as of now I'm asking nicely, stick around and sit down with me. Answer twice, and after all I need you. You're not there, but I need you. cut me off with a moment's notice. Anywhere and anytime I see you, you're not there, but I see you. A and now, start today, and I can feel I'm getting better. I just keep getting better. It gets better and better because I love you. I love you. Anyone and anything. Anyone and anything. I love you. I love you. Anyone and A&A. All right, now we're going to go back. That was back. A&A was back. This is back too. This is listen close. Listen close, I'm in my car. I got a map and I know where I'm headed. I know where I'm headed. Listen close, I'm on my way. A paper bag and a book of matches. And where will you be when I get there? Listen close. Not a winner. It felt like it was going to be a winner, but it was not a winner. All right. What do we got next? Well, I guess let's find out. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. No, not that.
Making my way back to you, babe. Coming apart, but I'm always following breadcrumbs that you lay. Follow my heart into a dark place, working my way back to you now. Let's put the pieces in order. Half of the world is in shadow, half of the distance to cover. I spent my time in the wilderness. I was a spirit in exile, building a castle from loneliness, working my way up the coastline. It's not a shout, it's not a call, it's just a hairline crack in the wall that brings the whole thing down. Call just to say that you don't care. Sick from the weight that you're under, awake from a national nightmare. I feel like we'll never recover, making my way back to you, babe. Coming apart, but I'm always following breadcrumbs that you laid. Follow my heart into a dark place. It's not a line that you can see, it's just a beacon calling you to me, calling you to me. It's not a shout, it's not a call, it's just a hairline crack in the wall that brings the whole thing down. To me, oh Emily, you better run to me. 'Cause if you stay, they'll drain your life away. Oh Emily, you better run.
Crack in the wall.
So I heard that the lights went out, and I saw that your eyes were shut. There's a shout on the wind, and the voice is broken. Cast a shadow across the floor. There's a glow coming in from outside, and the door that you closed is standing open. Wash away the bright red line. Maybe you could give me a sign. We could talk it over all night.
Dump your pain in an envelope, shaking hands with the devil you know. Come around when you come clean, let the words be spoken. He's working out the differences like pulling teeth. Maybe I've been holding on to something you need. The empty space around you breathes and everything's coming back to life. You know if you want to you can drop by. I've been watching television, but you heard the voice behind the screen says, get me off the planet to make me some more. Whoa. Break apart so you come back whole. Take the last piece and never let go. But you don't have to speak, I can feel you breathing. You're a gift like your mother said. Lay me down at the foot of the bed. Come around when you come clean, let the words be spoken. Wash away the bright red line. Maybe you could give me a sign. We could talk it over all night. He's working out the differences like pulling teeth. Maybe I've been holding on to something you need. The empty space around you breathes and everything's coming back to life. So you can stop by. I've been watching television, but you heard the voice behind the screen says, get me off the planet to make me some more. Playing back a tape loop in my mind. What the devil wants, the devil gets. Listen to the universe unwind. Everybody's either deaf or blind. They beg you before they make their threats. Playing back a tape loop in my mind. I hear your voice and then I fall behind. We've gotta make the rounds and pay some debts. Listen to the universe unwind. Recorded on cassettes. 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 Recorded on cassettes. 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 Roll it back before you say you're mine. Listen closely for the small regrets. Playing back the tape loop in my mind. It's written on the wall and underlined. The end looks just the same in all respects. Listen to the universe unwind. Recorded on cassettes, cassettes, cassettes. 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 If you have to go, then please be kind. Leave me with a kiss and cigarettes, playing back a tape loop in my mind. Now listen to the universe unwind. Recorded on cassettes, recorded on cassettes. Oh, thank you very much. That was cassettes. Those were my songs. I'm Ad. I'll see you as host. Bye.
Song fight, song fight. Get a title and a date, send a song in. Everybody votes, then we do it again. Song fight, song fight. Get a title and a date, send a song in. Everybody votes, then we do it again.
Man, I'm going to quote Dory Turner Nolt here and just say, I love that song, The Sex.
The sex.
The Sex! That Jeff played that. That was a Narayan song.
You're right.
Bingo!
For the sake of bingo.
For the sake of bingo.
Oh, are you floppy now?
That was a Narayan song you wrote, and you first performed it live at Songfight Live Seattle in 2012. And Dory came up to Jeff after and said, Jeff, I love that song, The Sex. And so now I think we all think of that when we hear that song. It is sort of fun to shout, The Sex! The Sex! Anyway, hey, guess what? That was a set by Ad. Those of you who are worried about my coffee consumption, don't worry. I switched to red wine. So, I'm wearing high-waisted jeans. I've had coffee and wine. It's going to be a fun night, y'all.
All right. Okay, so now now we got a full set in.
Yeah.
We're going to do a few shorter things here to
Here's some more fun things to wet your whistle.
wet your whistle and to consider yourselves that you might want to contribute in future weeks. This is a telethon. Oh,
Yeah.
I am so quiet now, aren't I?
Try that again. Say that again. Say all that again. It was brilliant and genius.
This
Give the
is-
phone number.
This is a telethon. The goal of the telethon is submit music for the next 3 weeks. So after that set, we're gonna have a few shorter things from many different song fighters, just to kind of go all over the world, literally here. And so yeah, that's enough talking about that. How about we're going to throw...
More music, more music.
I hope I pronounced this band name right. Because to the point of just, submit something in. I don't keep current, so I don't know who this person is. But Flebia. This is going to be a Flebia set. So, Flebia.
Flebia, live from the bathroom, Song Fight 2020, accompanied by my trusty Volca sample and my acoustic guitar. Most of these songs were originally written on a bass guitar and a drum set, so I'm having to tweak them a little bit. And because I threw this together, it's going to mostly be power chords. Anyway, let's get started. This is Good Trouble.
See
so let's see. Next track. What's this one? Oh, that's too fast. Let's slow that down to the right speed. There we go. Move the recording device so we're not flipping a little bit on the right side. This is Please Move. That's one of my fun, gloomy goth songs I've submitted. Up next is another fun, gloomy goth song I've submitted. Now this one I have to play with nothing but downstrokes for it to sound right, so I'm going to try to play it as fast as I can without murdering my wrist. Let's see how this goes. Not fast enough. Let's see how this goes. If I get off beat, sorry. This is Something's Wrong. Day after day they seem the same farewell. It's such a shame to resonate with the emphasis of physics so damn many ways. To make a mountain out of a hill, a gaping chasm from a hollow. Fill your reservoir with Chinese water torture. And when I look into your face, magic rectangles that show us what we please when we please. Baseless effort to squeeze out one more tiny drop of dopamine. We're dislocated from our geography. Why do we call it fight or flight when neither is an option? Why do our pulses race? Why do we feel debased? Wandering mindless with no sense of place. In any case, if life's a race, we'd all be tripping on our shoelaces. Something's wrong somewhere, somehow. Nothing's right. Something's wrong right here, right now. It's not alright. Existential burden. Okay, that's all I've got. Have a good one. Songfight Live 2020. You guys are great. Let's have another good year songfighting.
I've got an experiment, baby, that I wanna do with you. The lab is getting hot, babe, my Bunsen burn is burning blue. But I've got a little theory, maybe you've been theorizing too about me. So it's time that we got down and got results empirically. Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. You know it ain't rocket science, baby. It's easy as can be. If you wanna make sweet, geek love, we've got every little thing that we need. We've got you, we've got me, we've got the technology. We've got you, we've got me. Yeah, baby, you know you are my little particle accelerator. Yeah, you know you push my buttons like I push them on my pocket calculator. But I move at the speed of light, so you see me increasing mass before I come. Baby, I'll be my chimpanzee. I will be your optical thumb. Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. You know it ain't rocket science, baby. It's easy as can be. If you wanna make sweet geek love, we got every little thing that we need. We've got you, we've got me, we've got the technology. We've got you, we've got me, we've got the technology. We've got you, we've got me, we've got the technology. We've got the technology. Yeah, we've got the technology. We've got the technology. We've got the technology.
What up? Awesome. Oh yeah.
Caravan.
Too loud. Caravan Ray. So that was Flebia, followed by Caravan Ray, all the way from Australia. Does anybody remember the name? Toowoomba, Australia. Assuming he's still there, but he's probably the MVP international citizen for Songfight Live. He's been to the most, I think, U.S. Songfight Lives coming from out of the country. But awesome. So yeah, and send more songs, Caravan Ray. Send more. Now we're going to go international again with a medley. Awesome idea. You don't have to play the whole song. Just put them all together. So here is a set from Heine from Germany. He's about to say exactly that.
Hello, this is Heine from Germany. So here's another try of part 1 of my song medley from all my songs I submitted since 2008. Keep on trying. And smells and touches. It's like I'm in love with my city and fog. I love it a lot. So I would pray every day, Lord, keep me safe from that rattlesnake. Help to see and help to hear. Let me stand tall without any fear. Just me. Wenn die Sterne durch unser Fenster scheinen, kann ich endlich wieder bei dir sein. Entzück mich, drück mich, ich genieß dich so sehr. Komm, halt mich und lieb mich noch ein kleines Stück mehr. Special feelings appear inside of me. The world is wide, nowhere else I long to be. And the moon gently turns the tide. Boom, 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 boom. You're the heartbeat of the surface for sure. Boom, boom. Boom, boom. You're the heartbeat of the surface for sure. All you can do, all you can do. Sweeping the ashes is all you can do. All you can do, all you can do. Sweeping the ashes is all you can do. Be wrong finishing this song before it gets too long. Now that's enough. Stop. This is a lie. It's only part 1. Part 2 follows. Okay, second part of my medley, Heine from Germany. Try it. Times are changing, life goes on. What used to be now is gone. But I still have to admit, my heart just can't get over it. Cut it out, cut it out, cut it out. Take my heart wherever you may go. Cut it out, cut it out, cut it out. Without you I don't need it anymore. But you and me, that could be. Just complicate your life and take me. If you wanted to, if you wanted to, if you wanted to. You've got to make the first move. I've been on a chase for 3 days now, living out of my secrets, trying to make it somehow. The NSA read my email that day. No, they tried to take me, trying to take me away. Didn't know how long time can be, and when you finally came, cried and cried and cried and cried. All I ever wanted was someone by my side, yeah. It was a lost weekend, and I couldn't get it back. It was a lost weekend, and I couldn't get it back. You're sitting on my lap, I can't get away. Resigning once more, okay, let's stay. My favorite monster, it lives under your bed. When you fall asleep, it crawls into your head.
Woo!
My favorite monster, it crawls right into your brain, causing you these nightmares, driving you insane. Driving you insane. Walk steady, walk on. People can be bad, they can make you feel sad. Walk steady, walk on. Keep your hand up high, no more need to cry. Walk steady, walk on. People can be bad, they can make you feel sad. Walk steady, walk on. Keep your head up high, no more need to cry. Yes, Songfight, please walk on the next 20 years, walk steady. Thank you for being there. Thanks from Germany, all over the world. Mwah.
Song fight, song fight. Get a title and a date, send a song in. Everybody votes, then we do it again. Song fight, song fight. Get a title and a date, send a song in. Everybody votes, then we do it again.
We were muted.
We're eating popcorn
That's awesome.
for dinner because that's what adults do, especially adults who love Germans singing about their favorite monsters.
Yes.
That was great. I loved that.
Welcome back to the United States.
Welcome. Sorry, I'm still just thinking about popcorn for dinner. This is Song Fight popcorn, actually, because the salt on this came from Aaron and Sam Douglas. That's what Song Fight is. It's a community of people who love each other enough
Give each other salt.
to send salt. You're welcome.
All right. So now we're going to get back into the long sets. In fact, the next set will be us.
More of us. I bet we've just, made you hungry for more of us.
Small disclaimer, this will be a little quiet in the rush up to getting this stream together. That was one thing that just didn't get fixed. So
I do think it's a good illustration of, like, you've seen a lot tonight about what you could do when you submit your own sets. You can use an app to make single songs. You can just submit a single song. You can go into a bathroom with incredible acoustics and record. You can do what Jeff did, which is record some of the backing stuff separately and then do the rest in one take. You can do what we did, which is just sit in your backyard and turn on your iPhone camera and hope for the best.
all right, here you go. This is Charm Offensive in our backyard. Hello.
Hi.
We are Charm Offensive,
Yes, we are.
Songfight Live exclusive duo.
You're welcome.
We're going to play a few songs from Songfight Live past.
Yeah. We just put our kid to bed, which is sort of perfect because this first song is actually one we wrote about him.
This is the Square States.
When I had you, I was round. When round was a shame. But most of the time, I'm in the square states. Now you've grown up. The typical route. A rectangle body, circular mouth. But on the day we met, they whisked you away and left me alone to the square states. My body deflated, my heart crushed. The next 2 weeks flew by in a rush.
Seems like a little bit too much. Feels like a little bit too soon. When you said it was now or never. I didn't think I'd have to choose.
Like it always does. I've moved on. The square states stretch out alone. How you have grown, striking and noble. A perfect baby, now I feel oval. I think of your triangle head as I lay in my bed, trying to escape from the square states. But every now and then I'm moving to square states.
All right, there's that. All right, next is Come and Take It from Austin, Texas.
Come and take it.
I built a house on the hill, the walls are 50 feet high. I built a house on the hill.
I built a life in the sky.
I took the long way home.
I built a life in the sky.
I cut a path with my own 2 hands and make do in the place I land.
Why do you meddle so bad? Come and take it if you want it. If you want it, come and take it. Come and take it if you want it. If you want it, come and take it. All right.
All right.
That is Come and Take It. What do we got next?
Come and take it.
Up next is The Joke from 2014, Washington, D.C. I was lost under the waves. I was drowning in the sea. I was swimming to the shoreline and you were moving through the trees. Ba-ba, 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 you were living in the lap of it. Everyone and everything. You could hardly keep track of the rich as they were laying at your feet. Ba-ba, 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 ba-ba. All this money and all this fame won't be enough for you. You won't be saved by the time it's all through. There'll be nothing left for you to do. And I'll be laughing too when you see the joke is on you. You and I were in the light 7 years ago today, but it wasn't half as bright as it is now that you're the only star they can see. Ba-ba, 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 if you must be the whole night sky, only underwater for a very short time. The one you bury is the one that will bury you, and the song you thought was over will echo back. Will echo back. What goes around, it comes around. Goes around, comes around. What goes around, it comes around. Goes around, comes around. All this money and all this fame won't be enough for you. You won't be saved by the time it's all through. There'll be nothing left for you to do. And I'll be laughing too when you see the joke is on you.
I liked that little cameo by our biggest fan next door.
Yeah. Wonder how loud that was in the recording. All right.
All right.
And now we are going back in time to 2012, Seattle, Washington.
This was my very first Song Fight Live.
speaking. It's on the nose, but strictly speaking, your head is light and your boat is leaking, you know.
You know, I said it twice and you don't hear it. It's more the letter than the spirit. Don't go.
They told me that you'd come around. They told me, but they're always letting me down. Splitting hairs, I've got a feeling I'm way too careful, strictly speaking, I'm slow. I'm slow.
Walk a mile or walk a minute, it doesn't matter how you see it. I know.
They told me not to give up.
I'm pressing on, but
I'm not making time up. Knocking elbows and knocking shoulders. I took it hard, but I'm getting over you. Say it with me right here. But strictly speaking, you're over there. You're over there now. Strictly speaking, I do it better.
Now
Both get it right and work together. Now strictly speaking, I do it better. Both get it right and work together. Now strictly speaking, I do it better. But we get it right and work together. Now strictly speaking, I do it better. But we get it right. Works for me.
I ran out of mouth juice. What's that called? Breath. I ran out of breath.
Your breath is juice?
It's a delightful fruit.
All right. Thank you, Song Fight.
Woo! Things are falling on me.
All right.
All right, I got
It's
mouth
us again.
juice.
That's us again.
Fine. Fine.
Well, this has been awesome.
Yeah.
I feel.
If only there was more music. Oh wait.
Oh wait.
There's more.
This is just a little appetizer.
I do.
little
I do have to
teaser.
say that I just really want to do. Come and dig it. Like one more time.
Come and take it. Oh.
Come and dig it. I just remember wandering around Austin, trying to think up a song and just making everything sound like Billy Bob Thornton and Sling Blade. Come and dig it.
There were a lot more Texas songs by that title that year.
Rectum. That was a good
Yeah.
year. That
Oh,
was a good year. Somebody dig up the footage from that year. It
that's
exists.
not Rectum isn't on your bingo card, is it?
Rectum is not on my bingo card, but you know what? It was a suggestion. And by the way, I will update the bingo card. So if you have suggestions for
Yeah.
things that should be on the bingo card, let us know. If you have music to contribute, put it in the Dropbox.
Also, FYI, we're not hosting the other nights.
No.
So-
Every night you get different mouth juice. No? And different jingles.
Mhm.
Different jingles.
Mhm. And I assume at some point the live fight title will be announced.
Not my job.
I mean, we've got a month. It's a whole month. It's a whole month of Song Fight.
Get on it, whoever's job that is.
What's better than a whole month of Song Fight?
Nothing.
All right.
Salty popcorn.
So, if you are watching the live chat along with the stream, at some point here, maybe during this next set, we're going to post a link to an after party Zoom call, where, you can shoot the shit. I mean, you're already shooting the shit on the live chat. It's awesome. Somebody's shooting the shit on Slack right now. But yeah, we'll post a link there if you want to join the Zoom and talk about whatever we want to talk about. Talk about tonight. Talk about next week, other weeks.
Tell me if you got bingo
Yeah, how many people got bingo? We
or
wanna know.
blackout.
If you got blackout,
If you got blackout, you got a big prize coming your way.
yeah. All right, sweet. So with that, it is now time for our Glenliner.
Hey! Hey, this is our. We think of Glenn as our. He's also co-hosting with us tonight. He did all those amazing interviews at the beginning. I think we should. This is our Grammy speech. We should give some thank yous, maybe.
Yeah, I meant to Zoom call him on my phone, but I didn't do it.
Well, you fucked that up.
Well, you've heard enough from all of us, maybe. Anyway.
Probably.
So
Why don't we just let Glenn sing?
we'll just let
Let's
Glenn
just
sing.
do that.
All right. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for your future support for this month. I think it's going to be good. And we'll talk to y'all later.
We'll stand up.
Wait, we were muted too when
Set.
we came back. 1 second. Looks like little technical hiccup. You'll get the Glenn set in just a second.
Technical difficulties.
Hello, my name is Glenn Case. I'm from Spokane, Washington, and this song is called Bullseye Girl. She's kinda clumsy, so she wears a crash helmet. She anticipates inevitable fall. She's so numb from all the previous disasters, it's a wonder she feels anything at all. And I can understand what empty promises and make her put her finger in her throat to hurl. She is a target for the irritating jerks. It isn't easy for a bullseye girl. The wolves are out tonight, attacking without reason. Bo Peep has lost her sheep, but now she's packing heat and shooting like it's open season. Tonight the gloves are fine, and I understand what happens when you push a nice your lip to the edge. She's finding every man who ever took advantage, and the casually disintegrating heads. The boys that play the games of hearts are quickly learning that they never should have tried to play with her. Didn't realize that life could be the price just for messing with the bullseye girl. The wolves are out tonight, attacking without reason. But Peep has lost her sheep, but now she's packing heat and shooting like it's open season. Let's invite some friends.
Let's.
That checks out, there's little doubt. There's no priority for me to try to understand. Well, that checks out, that checks out. And it's not safe. I don't know how or why I should behave, and I'm not brave. I scan the room to find a means of escape. What I need is a secret handshake, so I believe I say too much more often than I know when to shut up. They tell me that it's good that I can see these things for what they are. It's not as hard to change it. What has got a hold on me? What stops me from breaking free? I have an addictive personality. Don't punish me, I guarantee that I'll be much more harsh when I keep thinking all about the lines I've crossed. I went too far, and it's not hard to see it, but it's got a hold on me. What stops me from breaking free? I have an addictive personality. In retrospect, I see where I went wrong, but it's too late to correct it. I say I'll learn from this, but I know better. I'm sure I'll screw up again. I say too much more often than I know when to give up. They tell me that it's good to be persistent when I know it's not, but I can't stop. I'm sorry, what has got a hold on me? What stops me from breaking free? I have an addictive personality. Both love and trust. There's no rush. Take our time and just be us. Yes, indeed, in this life there are no guarantees, and I can see it's passing by at frightening speed. Worry and be concerned, make misery wait its turn, 'cause there's no rush. Focus on both love and trust. There's no rush. Take our time and just be us. So much could happen, and I understand. Sometimes it sucks, but all in all there is no rush.
say. I'm left with those tired old cliches. At the end of the day, it's all the same. Out of touch and I don't know how I feel. Trying to reinvent the wheel. I'm needing a jump start for my brain. I really don't have an answer for that question. There's nothing missing, but I'm only guessing. And there's one thing that I know to be an actual fact. I fell flat, and love is what was bringing me back. And now that I know what I lack, I need another dose of you stats. Sometimes I feel like an empty shell that isn't doing very well. Didn't live up to all the hype. Was it supposed to be my fate? To be nothing special, nothing great. It doesn't add up, it don't seem right. I really don't have an answer for that question. There's nothing missing, but I'm only guessing. And there's one thing that I know to be an actual fact. I fell flat. The love is what was bringing me back. Now that I know what I lack, I need another dose of you stats. I'm not where I thought I'd be. It turned out to be make-believe, and somehow you're in love with me. At least there is one thing that I know to be an actual fact. I fell flat, and love is what was bringing me back. And now that I know what I lack, I need another dose of you stats. If you put it in pen, I'll regret it again, because I'm bound to make some mistakes. And it's gonna stink if it's permanent ink. I might wish that it could be erased. But pencil me in, I'll do what I can to ensure I don't act like a flake. Pencil me in, darling, please understand. It's a commitment I'm not sure I should make. If it's written in lead, it will mess with my head, because then I know I can back out. Oh, it seems immature, but I'm really not sure there's a chance that this all could work out. But pencil me in, and I'll do what I can to ensure I don't act like a flake. Pencil me in, darling, please understand. It's a commitment I'm not sure I should make. I'm unreliable, I'm stretched too thin. Pencil me in. If it's written in stone or in blood or in bone, I'll freak out and I may just shut down. Oh, I want it so bad, and to give this a stab. As it is, my word means nothing now. Pencil me in, and I'll do what I can to ensure I don't act like a flake. Pencil me in, darling, please understand. It's a commitment I'm not sure I should make. So you know they're about to kill the lights, but I'd like to thank you for coming here tonight to open mic. The performers showed that they were brave, and with a beer or two, some even got on stage, saw the rage. Don't try to sneak in again if you're underage. Thanks for coming, it's been a blast, but all good things can last. We'll be here next week, so come again and tell a friend. Thanks for coming and good night. Song fight, song fight. Get a title and a date, send a song in. Everybody votes, then we do it again. Song fight, song fight. Get a title and a date, send a song in. Everybody votes, then we do it again.
Well,
At this point, we're just trolling John.
at the risk of ruining Glenn's perfect sign off, we're coming back in.
Party posse.
Party posse.
Ready to party.
So pretty soon there should be a Zoom link in the live chat.
Yes, Glenn Case will be posting a Zoom link into the live chat if you want to join us for the after party. But also, woo! Yeah!
Woo! I mean,
that's basically what you would have gotten if we were live.
if it needs to be said. How many Glens were there, G?
How many Glens were there?
There is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Are you just counting numbers you know?
No, the
How many Kens were there?
1.
One
There's
Ken.
one Ken. How many Jims were there?
1.
One Jim. How many Rachels were there?
1.
How many Moes were there?
1.
Okay. And then how many people were there total?
1, 2,
Okay.
Good night, everybody.
Looks like we have our after party link. Thank you so much. I think this went reasonably well. So
Send us your songs.
Send us your songs, and we're gonna have an amazing month.
See you next Saturday.
I'd rather see you all in person, obviously, but we'll make the best of it. So
whoever's hosting next Saturday, we'll see you then.